Hello, and thank you for visiting the SEDM website. This video demonstration and training will show you how to use the Litigation Tools page within the SEDM website. What you have in front of you is the opening page of the SEDM.org website at right here at this address, SEDM.org. And from the opening page, if we want to access the page that is the subject of this video, we would click up here on Litigation. The Litigation Tools page is provided for people who are engaged primarily in litigation in the court in the defense of their rights, and who are corresponding with other attorneys, with filing legal pleadings, doing legal research, and so on. Everything needed to prosecute a case to defend your rights would be found on this page. This page would not be useful, for instance, as a political tool. It would not be useful for petitioning congressmen or writing congressmen or finding the addresses of congressmen or senators or whatever. This page is used primarily after one has exhausted all of their administrative and political remedies and has no choice but to litigate. On this page we have basically the menus on the top, which let you navigate to the other main pages of the website at the very top. You can see right now that we're on the Litigation Tools page because it's highlighted. So these are the various basically subsections or sections within the site. Now on the Litigation Tools page we provide a lot of reference materials here because people who are litigating typically need a lot of reference tools. They need ways to look up court cases and statutes and how to prepare pleadings and sample pleadings and instructions on how to use Microsoft Word to prepare the pleadings and so on. So we confine ourselves on this page by giving you a lot of references to prosecute your case. And we put them at the top because you're likely to use them often, more often than anything else on the site actually. And we divide them up in this section here, the reference sections and research sections. We divide them up by whether they're on-site or off-site. So you can see the first row here is on-site, meaning everything that's on this website that's directly relevant to litigation. And then down here we have support, litigation support. So within the SEDM forums, which would be accessible right here under forums, you would access you could access various subsections within the forums, in this case the litigation section of the forums, if you either need help or want to offer help in that particular specialty area. And this is an on-site link, like everything up here. It's an on-site link. And then the other portion of the references is off-site. So everything from this dividing line over to the right on the second row, and then everything below this section also is all off-site. So, and let me draw that for you just to make sure you understand. Okay, so this would be off-site, just like this would be off-site. Okay, likewise this and this would be on-site, meaning from SEDM. So let's clear that again. So that's the differentiation, and the whole box, basically, this whole box is your reference links, and that's what we're talking about at the moment. Okay, so now the off-site links, we want to emphasize, we do not support those. We didn't create those. We don't support those. If you find errors or problems with those, please don't contact us. So everything here and everything down below here, you should never contact us with questions or problems about, because we're not responsible for it. Don't send us any errata. Don't tell us there's a spelling error. Don't complain because you don't like the content. Contact the provider of the content, which is not us, and ask them to change it. That's how you solve the problem. Now, within the on-site legal research links, we have the subject index, and that shows you basically a list of all the subjects on the site, organized in alphabetical order here. So here's all the subjects, and then all the references available on those subjects. So if we wanted to know about benefits, here's all the research on benefits. And notice, first of all, that when we clicked on that link, it opened a new tab, so we can go back to where we were. So we can go back and forth between, the area we're researching and then go back to our litigation tools page again. So let's close that. And likewise, the jurisdiction database is a database of all jurisdictions throughout the USA, all state and federal jurisdictions and territories, and all the laws in each one of those jurisdictions. It's a rather large and extensive and useful database. We use it all the time. It's 264 pages. It's a very popular document on this site. You might want to download it and look over it carefully, because I'm sure you'll find some use for it. Likewise, we have the member subscription library, which is basically member subscription content. And there's lots of useful downloadable forms and publications and books that you can download. We also have memorandums of law, which are off of our forms and publications page. If we click on this, you'll see that. It takes us right to the memorandums of law section right here. And there's, right now, over 40 different forms, memorandums of law. And you can use these memorandums of law as attachments in your pleadings in court. They're very useful. And we have situational references, which is references on particular situations, and they're organized by who the other party is you're interacting with. So the federal government, the state government, the private employers, financial institutions, and all the common situations you'll end up with in all those things, so you can find them. Path to Freedom is basically your checklist how to become free. And free legal treatises, we have a list of free treatises you can obtain throughout the internet. They're all in downloadable PDF format. Very useful research tools. Some of them are older books, but we read them all the time. It shows you the revision date, the author, comments, the title, and the item number if you want to refer to it. We have web capture of this page. In other words, the whole page here is downloadable as a PDF, so you can view it offline. We have a course here, Legal Research and Writing Techniques course, that teaches you how to do legal research. We have a website video introduction, which is shows you in video how to use the site. And we have writing legal pleadings. How do you write a legal pleading? That's a video, basically, on a sequence of videos on how to use Microsoft Word to write legal pleadings and litigate in your own defense. And we have on-site support forms, as we said, and we also have off-site support forms, but those are on the Family Guardian sister site, and those are not supported by us directly, but they also do litigation-related stuff. And then we have off-site legal research links. So we have basically all the different types of law here that you could look up. So we have legal research sources, which is every type of law you could think of in hierarchical organization. We have the subject index and since this is offsite, this is the subject index for the Family Guardian site. And how do we know that? Because we look at the address bar up here and it says famguardian.org. So it's no longer on SEDM, so please don't contact us about it. But this is an organization of their content by subject matter. And we have research links. These are all the different types of research you can do and sources for research on the internet. State legal resources, these are all your states on the left and all the types of laws on the right that you can look up. And state income taxes, this is the same thing. The states on the left and then all the different types of characteristics of their tax system. The state vehicle codes, same thing. And then we have the sovereignty forms and instructions online, which is your basically this item here, sovereignty forms and instructions, has all the different sections over here. We're not going to talk about that because there's a video on how to use that, a separate video. And these are all the subsections within the sovereignty forms and instructions: sites by topic, authorities, evidence, and legal reference. In particular, we like the sites by topic. We use that one all the time. We click on that one and we scroll down here and we look, and we can see we're on sites by topic right here. See that? And we just scroll down here to the word of art that is commonly used in government forms. to find out what the real legal, not political, definition is. And we use that all the time because there's lots of trickery used in legal language. And so we also have published authors, which is, an index of government and private publications. Government stuff's on the top. Private publications and law review articles on the left, on the bottom here. So that's very useful. And legal dictionary, there's an older version of Black's Law Dictionary that's accessible here with all the different definitions. In this case, it's actually Bouvier's, 1856. That would be this, Bouvier's Law Dictionary. There's also legal abbreviations, an index of legal abbreviations, hundreds of them. There are legal maxims, maxims of law. These are very important if you're doing common law litigation because they definitely pertain. And these are all derived from Bouvier's Law Dictionary. We have precedents of law, in other words, the hierarchy of law, what matters and what doesn't in any given situation. That's a really important thing to know. And it falls within a broader area of law called choice of law. So you want to understand this section so you know how the choice of law rules apply to your specific situation. And then we have Public Library of Law, which is a third-party research link that tells you about cases. Federal Court Records, PACER. This is how you look up the cases, active ongoing cases in federal court, any federal court for that matter. You have to have an account and it costs you money, but this is how you'd find the pleadings that are filed in that case. And then there are finally in the reference area, there are research links. There are subscription legal research sources like Westlaw, LexisNexis, Versus Law. And by subscription, we mean you have to sign up for an account. You have to pay a certain amount of money every month. And Westlaw, for instance, is really expensive. It's hundreds of dollars a month to access their database of case law. But there are different types of services to provide case research, and that's what attorneys spend their most time on, is the case research of all the things. And then, so we've covered basically all the legal research and on-site and off-site research links here for you. And so the next section we have here is the table of contents. The table of contents is organized just like on the Forms and Pubs page, where you have a three-level hierarchy of organization of the forms on the page. Each one of these is a section. Each one of these has forms of its own or pleadings or items of its own. So if we wanted to go to general forms in level 2 here, this is level 2, this is level 1, index of litigation tools. Level 3 would be the blue lines. Level 2 would be the yellow lines. And everything's color-coded to make sure you know where you are at any given point. So if we wanted to go to, let's say, general forms on the litigation tools. So it would be a general litigation tool. Click on general, and it takes us down to the general section. Now, we want you to notice that when it took us down to that section, we went to what's called a bookmark. A bookmark is a mark within a page so that allows you to jump within the page when you click on an item. So when we clicked on general, it took us, and notice there's no bookmark after the URL here. See, there's no pound sign and something else. But if we click on this, we see a pound sign show up, it gets added, and then we see the name of the header right after the pound sign. And why are we mentioning this? Because these internal bookmarks, intra-page bookmarks as we call them, they only work on certain browsers. So what we're using right now is Internet Explorer version 9, but you may be using a different browser. You may be using Google Chrome or Firefox or Opera or any number of other, or any of the mobile type browsers, on Android phones or iPhones or whatever. And these particular bookmarks will not work on those other browsers. Intra-page bookmarks do not work on anything other than Internet Explorer. So we want to emphasize that the convenience of being able to click on these sections here will not work probably within your particular browser if you're not using Internet Explorer. And that's why we highly recommend that people who want to use our site use Internet Explorer exclusively so that they will get an optimum experience for everything. And otherwise they will be inconvenienced by the limitations of their own particular browser. So we clicked on the bookmark and we went down to section 1.1, And now we can see that each litigation tool is described in a series of columns here. So going down the left, we have the litigation tool number. So this would be litigation tool 01.001. We put leading zeros in front so that of here, 0 and 00 here. We put leading zeros in front of the numbers so that we have a standard number of digits, and so that all the form numbers will sort properly in a computer database. And so if you want to refer to a form, always use the leading zeros in the form number. So this would be form number 01.001, legal pleading / motion. And we would never say that it's litigation tool 1.1. We would say that it's litigation tool 01.001. And sometimes people get confused, because if we scroll up here, we can see that there's a Forms and Pubs page, and we can see that the Forms and Pubs page also has a general section, and it also has a 01.001, but this is a form number, not a litigation tool number. That's the difference, the main difference between the Forms and Publications page here and the litigation tools page here. Everything on this page is litigation tool on the litigation page. Everything on the Forms and Pubs page is a form number. So just keep that in mind so you don't confuse the two pages. So if we come down here, we can see that there are several columns here. We have the litigation tool number in the first column. We have the source in the second column. The source identifies where the item comes from, and there are 4 different possibilities that could be in this column. If the column is blank, that means it's a general purpose public form that's available to everybody, whether they're members or not. And if they another type of entry you'll see in here is member subscriptions, and that would be an item that you have to sign up to member subscriptions for in order to view. And if you want to know how to join member subscriptions, simply click on this link and read it, and then click up here to join if you want to join member subscriptions. It's not automatic. You have to sign up for it and consent to it. Another item value you'll see in this source column is the offsite link. And this particular link takes us to a different website, offsite link that we're not responsible for. And so if we click on this, we'll jump away from this SEDM website to the other site. Another thing we'll see here is bookstore. So the bookstore would be items available through the bookstore, and they're downloadable. So if we clicked on this, it would take us to the bookstore. Here's our bookstore, and we could pick the item that way through the bookstore interface, or we could simply click on it here to add it to our cart, like this. See? There's the item that we just clicked on. It takes us to the bookstore. So there's a couple other entries we'll see in the source column. One of them would be compliant members only content, and that would be basically content that is available only to people who are not only members and consenting members and consent to the member agreement, but who are actually following our path to freedom. And there aren't very many litigation tools that would fit in that category, but there are some. So that would be another type of entry we would see in this column. So we have blank, we have offsite link, which is an offsite link to another site. We have member subscriptions, we have bookstore, and we have compliant member only content. And if we scroll through here, oh, and by the way, if it's a bookstore item, sometimes we'll have a sample underneath it. So if you click on this, you can view a sample of what's in that document or that item, so you know what you're getting, basically. So looks like there aren't any compliant member only content in the litigation tools page, so we don't have anything to show you there. Okay, so the next column would be the format, and this format is the type of application you will need to view this document or this item. And in this case, it's a zip file, so it requires a decompression utility. So we have to have a decompression utility installed on our system, like WinZip or PKZip or whatever, to open up this document. Another type of document is a PDF, and the various types of items that could appear in this column are identified here as by their symbols. So we could have Adobe Acrobat format documents, which we would access only from adobe.com. We would download the free reader here to view that kind of a document. We could also have a zip format document, which is basically a compressed version of several files combined together in a folder, so to speak. We also have Microsoft Word documents, which means we need the latest version of Microsoft Word to read that document. We have an HTML type document, which means all we need is a browser to view it. We have Windows Media or audio or video files, which would be which would require the Windows Media Player that's part of Microsoft Windows, or if you're on a Mac, you would need the VLC Media Player. And likewise, the Adobe Flash Player. We need to have that free Flash Player installed, and we give you a link to download that item right here, Flash Player. Same thing with the Adobe Reader right here. You click on this link to get a free copy to download it and install it. And finally, we have audio files like MP3 or WAV files, which means we could play them with the Windows Media Player built into Windows or with the VLC Media Player if you're on a Mac. So that's the format column. This tells us what format, what type of application we must have installed in order to view this type of content. Keep in mind also that the fact that we have Adobe Reader, for instance, here installed, and we click on this link, doesn't mean we can view it always. Because in many cases, people have older computers and they have older versions of these applications, in this case the Acrobat Reader, installed on their system. And everything published on our site requires you to have the latest version of every application, the latest that you can get. I mean, we go back a few versions on PDFs, like everything on our site is compatible with Adobe Acrobat 7.1 or later. So if you have an earlier version of Acrobat and you click on this link here to view this item, it will probably be corrupted or it may not work at all. So, and if you have problems viewing it, even though you have the Adobe Acrobat Reader installed, please make sure you go to Adobe as the very first step and download the very latest version of the Adobe Reader to make sure that it's not the application that's giving you the problems in viewing the document. Another common complaint we get is some of these documents are rather large. And if they're large, sometimes we'll list the size right here in this format column. But if they're large and you don't give them enough time to download, and then you try and you expect to see it in your browser and it doesn't show up because you didn't wait long enough, then you'll think, oh, well, the document's corrupted, or I can't view it, or whatever, and that's not the problem at all. The problem is you didn't give it enough time to download. So if you want to prevent that problem, if it's a large document, you can just right-click on it and say Save Target As, and that'll save it to your local hard drive, and you can view it offline that way. That's a much better way to do it, especially if it's a large file. So the next column we have is the title of the document. So there's the title. Then we have the circumstances where this document is used. And you might want to read that to make sure this form suits your purposes. And then we have a next column is related resources or information. This would be related rules, statutes, documents found on this site, and so on. That would be related to this particular document or publication. And then finally we have the date of last revision. Okay, the date of last revision is useful to find out whether you have the very latest version of the document. We update the content on this site frequently, and you need to come back often to make sure you have the latest version of the form. How do we know what version we have? Well, if we right-click on this and we open it in a new tab, and we look at this particular document, you will see, if we zoom in, you will see at the bottom lower left corner of every page, you will see the form number or litigation tool number and the revision date. So this particular document, if we scroll down, is litigation tool 01.002 and it's Rev 10-10-2010. So if we go back here where we clicked it, you can see that we actually have a later version than the latest version, because this column obviously has not been updated. It's old. It needs to be updated. And by the way, and that brings up another issue, and that is every time we update a form, we try very hard to make sure that or a litigation tool, we try to make sure that this column is updated consistently, but sometimes we miss, and this is an example here where the form was last published on 10-10-2010 and yet it still lists 266. There are thousands of forms and litigation tools and publications on the site. There's over 1,100 of them, and it's hard to keep all this rev dates current. but we try very hard to make sure that it's current. So this basically describes every row in this litigation tools page. They're organized in a hierarchy, an outline hierarchy. If we go up here, they're organized in an outline hierarchy and in 3 levels. Okay, and then at the bottom of this page, the litigation tools page, practice guides we have general, discovery, how to get evidence, motions and petitions, response to motions and petitions, complaints and answers, trial, appeals, disciplining and government officers, reference, practice guides, and so on. State memorandums of law, pleas, and so on. Okay, but the next level 1 section is legal reference. So this is all your legal references on various subjects, which are very useful. You might want to take a close look at this. Electronic case management software, which is software that is used to manage law offices and conduct litigation. We have electronic forms compilations, which is forms from other legal forms from other sites that you can download. We have other form sites, general, government forms, and legal forms. And then finally, legal treatises. Now the legal treatises are not technically on this page. They're on a different page. So if we click on this, it'll take us off the page. There it is. So it says it's free legal treatises, but we have to click on the bottom here to actually get there. So these are basically a really complete list of free publications that we can download, typically in PDF format, on various law subjects. Many of them are available from Google Books. Many of them are on our site or the Family Guardian sister site or whatever. Okay, so let's close this one. Go back, hit the back button. There we go, back to the beginning. So that's basically the table of contents that helps you navigate around the site. Now if you want to download a copy of this entire page and everything listed and all the links active that you can click on, then you click here on web capture this page, and that would provide basically a Adobe Acrobat PDF with a capture of everything on this page for you to reuse. And that's good if you're doing offline research because you're on the road and you don't have internet access, but you still want to have access to what's on this page and what's available. It might also be useful if you happen to have somebody in jail that you're helping and you want to mail them an index of all the legal publications and tools that are available on our site. Then you'd use this form here. You would basically right click on it, open it in a new tab, and there it is in PDF format, and that way you can print it on your printer and mail it to the person or hand it to the person that you want to help because they don't have internet access because they're in jail or whatever. The next thing we want to show you is how this table of contents works, because it works exactly the same as the forms and publications page, because over on the right here we have the litigation tool number. So let's say somebody referred to form number 01.001. So you can see within this table of contents here that each section of the table of contents corresponds with a different range of form numbers. So for instance, under general, it would be litigation tool 01 point, and then there's an XXX. The XXX means that would be, an X can be the numbers numeral 0 through 9. So everything within this section can be like 01.001 through 01.999. So we could have up to 999 litigation tools underneath the general section here. So if someone refers to litigation tool 01.001, then and we want to find the tool by the tool number, then we would go to this column over on the right and we would search this list and we'd find what range of form numbers that it would fall in. And then we would click on that link to take us down there, and then we would look for it in the left-hand column under tool number. Another way that we would search for forms, or in this case litigation tools, is we would search by name instead of litigation tool number like over here. And that could happen by basically using Internet Explorer search instead of the table of contents or the form number. Okay, the name of the form would appear here in the title section. So if we search this page, we would try to look in the title section for what we're looking for. let's say we, for instance, wanted to look for this one, legal pleading in motion, but we don't know where it is and we don't know what the form number is, but we know the title. So we go back to the beginning of the page right here, and then we would hit Control F, as in Foxtrot, on our keyboard, and we would type in what we're looking for. So in this case, legal pleading. Okay, so it says up here that it found that item 7 times on this page, and it took us to the first reference here. But that's not the one we're looking for because we want a form number. So we'll click Next and find the next one. There it is. It found it. So just knowing the form name, the proper form name, we can correlate it back to a form number again. And we can also now download this item. We could click on the tool number over here, or we could click on the title. Either way, it would open that item. So those are the 2 ways we can locate litigation tools. We can search by the form numbers using the litigation tool column over here, or we can search by name using the search function of Internet Explorer and the Control F key, as in Foxtrot, and typing in the name of the form. So let's close the search and scroll down. The next thing we want to show you is how to refer to specific items on this page. Let's say you find something that's useful and you want to point it out to your friend and you want to send them a link to the item. Now, in order to do that, you have to make sure that the URL to the item is correct. Let's click Home and then go back to the Litigation Tools page. Now, we start out with this URL, Uniform Resource Locator. That URL is the URL to the page. So if we found something on this page that we liked and we wanted to refer to this page, we could send them this link here. We would select the link, we would hit Control-C to copy, or we'd right-click on it and select Copy here, either way, to copy that link. And then we would paste that link into our email or our chat. And we would paste it using Control and then V, as in Victor, on the keyboard. Or we would right-click and say Paste, either way. So that is how we would share links or links to items on this page with others. But in some cases, let's say there's a particular item on the form that we want to refer to instead of just this page generally. Let's say we wanted to refer to form 01.001 again, or in this case, litigation tool 01.001. If we wanted a link to just this item and not the whole page, then we would have to right-click on the item and we would have to say Copy Shortcut. And that would give us the link to only that item. And that link would be in our clipboard now. So we could go over to our chat window or our Microsoft Word document and we could paste it in. Let's try that. Okay, so here is Microsoft Word. We just copied it into the clipboard, the link to that item, and now we come over here, click in the document, hit Control-V to paste, and there's the link to the item if we wanted to send it via chat or whatever. We could also right-click and say Paste and get the same thing. So you can see that's how we can refer to items that we want to send to other people via chat or email or whatever. So let's close that. The other thing we want to show you is that every one of these sections, the colors are correlated with the table of contents at the beginning. So for instance, section 1.1 is yellow, so we can see that it's also yellow up here. So this helps us prevent us from getting lost on this page. So we know exactly what level in the hierarchy we are, whether it's level 1, green, or level 2, yellow, or level 3, here, blue. And also at the beginning of each section, sometimes we have links to relevant content. They would help you understand what's in this section. For instance, here, section 1.10, we have links to, practice guide information elsewhere. And like the other thing we want to show you here is that, the hierarchy is preserved. So a level 2 is always yellow, practice guides in this case. And then underneath that are the level 3, and they're indented to show you the hierarchy here. So this one's indented more than the other one, so you can see the hierarchy. The other useful thing here is that there's a link here provided at each section, and every one of these go to beginning links will always take you to the top of the page again. There it is. Okay, so that's really helpful. But keep in mind that that bookmark that did that requires the pound symbol and then the name of the section you're going to. And that whole functionality, that intra-page linking, will not work in Google Chrome or Firefox, at least not at the time that this video was prepared. So if you want all the convenience of these intra-document links to work, then you probably want to view the site using only Internet Explorer. This concludes our training on how to use the Litigation Tools page on the SEDM website. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.